move on to what you guys really want to know about, and that's the multiplayer mode. Now, in terms of the multiplayer mode, you have to know that this is a sci-fi first-person shooter, but in Titanfall, you're essentially getting two different games all packaged into one great experience. Now, you have the pilots, which are very mobile and can get into like nooks and crannies and stuff like that and can overwhelm you with their numbers. But then you have the mechs, you have the Titans, which has a completely different gameplay. The Titans are bigger, they're bulkier. Most are slower, but there are a few exceptions where there are some very fast Titans in this particular game, and it changes the dynamic drastically when you're inside your mech and when you're running around as a pilot. The game does feel like two different games, but it's done very, very well. What I like most about the multiplayer mode in Titanfall 2 is that it gives you options. You can choose to run around as your pilot and use your mobility to take out various other pilots, grunts, and Titans. And yes, a pilot can take out Titans if that pilot knows what they are doing. It is very difficult, but it is possible. You have various weapons, guns, light machine guns, anti-Titan weapons, and just the pure mobility of the pilot that can be utilized to overwhelm and even take out Titans, albeit it's very difficult, but that's where the balance comes into play. Now, a pilot that is very mobile is going to make it very difficult for that Titan to shoot and kill it or stomp on it or whatever means the Titan has to kill the pilot. A pilot that is moving makes it very difficult for that particular pilot. Now, you also have the ability for the pilot to jump on top of the Titan and rodeo the Titan, as well as take out the battery of the Titan, which does a decent amount of damage to that particular Titan, and be able to run that battery to their own Titan or put it on a friendly Titan, a partner Titan whose Titan is maybe a little low on health, to replenish that Titan's health. And this makes for a great choice, great gameplay, and just a very, very fun and cooperative experience. Now, the Titans in this game, on the other hand, are a completely different experience. They have their sheer size and strength to just decimate the battlefields and are pretty intimidating. In fact, in most cases, if you're a pilot and you see another Titan, you're probably going to start running or trying to rodeo that Titan or just trying to get into a building or something so that Titan does not decimate you. The Titan can literally just run over a pilot and crush him and kill him that way, or it can shoot that pilot and turn it into a blood mist, basically. It just completely incinerates the pilot. It's also good for the Titans to just take out various grunts very easily and quickly, too. The Titans are a very overwhelming and powerful force. And then the Titan on Titan battles are very fun and strategic because, again, with a variety of Titans, you have to know what Titan you have and what Titan you're going up against and adjust accordingly, because if you are a Ronin and you're going up against a North Star, North Stars are long range Titan, Ronins are close range Titans. That Ronin needs to be able to maneuver closer to that North Star if it wants to take it out, and vice versa. That North Star needs to keep its distance from that Ronin, or that Ronin is going to completely decimate it. And that's where the strategy and the fun gameplay comes into perspective. You also have various Titans that have a wide damage range, like the Titan I'm using right now, which is Scorch, which has the ability to scorch an entire area, do a lot of chip damage, but it is very slow. It doesn't have the mobility. So if you have a Titan that has a lot more mobility to it and can get around Scorch's wide damage radius, you will have a shot. And that's where the interesting gameplay comes into play. Also, you have the option to call in your Titan and not jump into your Titan and instead battle alongside your Titan, which is so fun, which I'm doing right now before I died. But you can have your Titan roaming around, and as people and pilots shooting at your particular Titan and other Titans shooting at your particular Titan, you can also flank them and kill pilots that are shooting at your Titan from behind, or jump and rodeo other Titans that are shooting at your Titan. And it makes for such an amazing gameplay, and it's done very well. Kudos to Respawn. Before I get into the bad, I want to touch on the sheer content in this game. This game has a lot of content. Besides the story mode, which I talked about earlier in this video, you also have the 6 or 7 different Titans, can't remember at the moment, and you also have a bunch of different guns in this particular game, all of which you can level up and unlock stuff for. You can unlock stuff as you level up your Scorcher Ions, special abilities that are, for the most part, pretty balanced and caters to different types of playstyle, and that's what I love about it. Same thing with the guns. You have a bunch of different clips and extended mags and faster sprint outs and stuff like that that you can unlock with the guns. You also have a bunch of different guns with different fire rates and range and stuff like that to unlock in this game. So there is a lot to unlock on this game. On top of that, there is a crap ton of cosmetics in this game, which you can unlock. You can unlock cosmetics for your gun. You can unlock cosmetics for your pilot. You can unlock cosmetics for your Titan. You can unlock cosmetics for your Titan's gun. And it's pretty cool. And it's you have to achieve it in most cases. Some of them you just get when you level up the gun or the Titan and so on and so forth. But there are some that you have to complete certain challenges in order to unlock, and it makes for a more in-depth game. It makes for a game with more staying power. It makes for just more challenges to complete, and it makes for a game that's gonna last a lot longer than the first one did. You also have a bunch of factions in which you can join, which is pretty cool. You unlock them as you level up, and each faction gives you a little bit more inclination into what the world you're battling in, each side's story and their partake. So it kind of opens up the world a little bit more like that through the factions. You also have a bunch of cool and very fun game modes. Bounty, which is the game mode I'm playing right now, is probably my favorite game mode right now, with attrition being a very close second. You also have the amped hardpoint game mode, which is pretty cool. I like that game mode. It promotes camping, but other than that, it's a pretty cool game mode. Capture the Flag is also a very fun game mode, relatively fast paced, and because of the movement system in this game, the Capture the Flag is actually very fun. You also have variety in this game, and that's what I like about it, because if you love the pilot gameplay of this particular game but hate the Titan gameplay of this particular game, they have a pilot versus pilot mode in this particular game, which does not have grunts. It's just mano a mano, pilot and gun against pilot and gun, and that's really awesome. And that game mode is also very fun as well. That alone makes it a very good first-person sci-fi shooter. The gameplay experience in that pilot v pilot game mode. You also have Titan versus Titan. So if you don't like the pilot movement system and you just want it for like the huge Transformers or the Gundam Wing type mechs, you can do that. You can have a Titan versus Titan and have that going on where you have a group of Titans going up against another group of Titans. And that's also very fun. And there's no grunts in that either. It's just Titan on Titan. And that's really awesome. And then you also have like game modes like this where you have the Titans and the pilots, but you also have the grunts. And these game modes are really good for people who want to, one, level up fast because you earn a crap ton of points, but two, it's also good for casual gamers. And that's what I love about this game. It's also for casual gamers. This is not like a super try-hard game. It's a very fun and casual game because you have the grunts for the players that are not very good, and they can just kill grunts as well as a few pilots every now and then, and also help out with Titans. They can steal the Titan's battery and put it into like a friendly Titan to kind of help out their team and stuff like that. And it's really fun, super casual, and I do enjoy the variety that this game offers. They're trying to make it for everybody. Okay, so now let's get into some of the bad in this game. This game is not a perfect game. It does have some issues, and one of the biggest offenders, in my opinion, is the perks. You have some perks that needs to be nerfed, and in some cases, some perks that should not even be in the game, and I think should be taken out of the game altogether. You have an invisibility perk, which is extremely annoying, especially in objective-based game modes like Amp Hardpoint, Capture the Flag, and Bounty Hunt, where you have people just hanging out at the drop zones or the deposit spots, and they're invisible, and you go to deposit your money, or you go to steal the flag, or you go to amp a hard point, and they're just there invisible, and you don't see them, and they just shoot you with a shotgun. That's very annoying and very frustrating. You also have that sonar pulse dagger thing where you throw it in a particular area, and it's kind of like a wall hack. It allows you to see people through walls and stuff like that. That is very, very annoying as well. I really don't like that. You also have one where it actually says like map hack, and it shows everybody on the particular map where they at through the walls, and I think that should definitely not be in the game. And there are things like that in this particular game that just should not be in the game, or just needs to be heavily, heavily nerfed. Now, in terms of the guns are for the most part balanced. There are some that are a little imbalanced. There are some that are pretty useless too, which a lot of the handguns, in my opinion, are pretty useless. You also have Titans that are objectively better than other Titans. For example, some Titans just cannot compete with other Titans. If you're a Ronin and you're going up against a Legion, you have to get up close and personal with that particular Titan. The problem is Legion has a lot of health and can withstand a lot of damage. So you're up close, and Ronin does not have a lot of health and cannot withstand a lot of damage. So if you're up close trying to hack away, Legion is going to be able to take a lot of that damage, and in turn just melt you with his freaking Gatling gun. I also think that the time to kill needs to be increased. You die a little bit too fast as the pilot, and in some cases as a Titan too, you can get melted very, very quickly to the point where you ask where your Titan went because of how fast it gets melted sometimes. I also think that they need to add some sort of stat tracker. It's really hard to tell what's your kill to death ratio and things like that. I know this game isn't really super on kill to death ratio things, but I would like to know how I'm personally performing as an individual, what my score is and stuff like that. You can see how many wins you got and how many kills you got, but that's pretty much it. I would like a better stat tracker and something that's more easily accessible as well. I also feel that there are some game modes that are harder to get into. I don't know if it's because of a population issue or what, but there are some game modes that you're waiting a very long time in order to jump into a game. And then there's other game modes where you jump into a game relatively quickly. And that's pretty much it for this review. So ultimately, if you're looking for a solid first-person sci-fi shooter with great hit detection, a 60 frame per second, and decent graphics, and a great casual game too, I highly, highly recommend Titanfall 2. It is the total package. It gives you basically two games for the price of one, because again, when you're playing as a mech, it's different from the pilot. And it also has a story. It has a lot of content, a lot of things that's going to keep you engaged in the game for a long period of time. I do highly recommend getting this particular game. It's a great casual game. It's a great game to just pick up and play and have fun with your friends and clown, and don't have to worry about like stats and kill to death ratio and things like that. So ultimately, I would say this game is a buy, do not pass. It does cater to a large variety of people. There is something for everybody in this particular game if you like Titans and Mech. With that being